Man, you got to take the bumps and the bruises. You know, you got to, nothing's what you work for it to be. Sometimes it's the complete opposite, right? Like, we don't always control every, variable, in our life. But I think the most important thing is to, just pick your head up, right? And I think as long as you have a purpose and a passion, you can kind of deal with your foggy days, your rainy days, because you know the reason you wake up every day is for something much bigger than what you're feeling currently. So yeah, man, as long as these kids could just continue to just push forward, I think I tell them all the time, just fall forward, you know what I mean? And so yeah, man, it's the best advice I can give them.
Early in your playing days, who did you look up to?
Early in my playing days, man, I was blessed, man, because when I got drafted, obviously I dealt with a few things at LSU, but when I got drafted, man, I was in the locker room Larry Fitzgerald and Patrick Peterson, Calais Campbell. So yeah, man, those guys took me under their wing, taught me how to be a pro, helped me, showed me how to be a better father, a better teammate, better leader. And so yeah, man, I was spoiled and blessed, man, when I first came to the league. Not everybody goes into situations with people that really handle their business the right way.
So, Tyrann, a lot of people last weekend before camp, maybe they be getting that last vacation in, maybe they fully locked in on training, but for you, you're running this camp. Why was that so important for you?
I mean, it's always a good time for me. I think anytime I do anything in the community, obviously I get a lot of support, but like I was telling the kids earlier, man, this is probably one of my, favorite, times of the year, just spending with them. Kind of unwinding, and like you said, getting ready for a long season. But it's a cool way to spend your weekend with these kids.
Do you feel like that almost helps going into camp, being able to see it at this level when it's so pure?
Well, I mean, it's humbling, for me especially, man. I think the journey that I've taken, and obviously, like I said, man, with the support that I've had from a lot of people in this community, it's been a blessing, man, to come out here and just try to be a reflection. Like I told those kids, man, I was you 15, 20 years ago.
I was gonna say, when you're out here and you seeing the kids doing the drills, do you go back to any camps that you went to as a kid?
Well, I didn't really get to experience too many camps. But what I tell them, man, is just enjoy yourself, right? Obviously, we want to come out here and have a good time. I want you to remember the day, but I want you to stay in line. I want you to listen to coaches. I want you to be cognizant of the time. So without trying to overwhelm them, you want to teach them a few things while having fun.
You've been out here watching. You seen anything you like from some of these kids? I mean, some of them are small, but they got moves.
Well, I'm always impressed because half these kids are already bigger than me. You know what I mean? So clearly they got that going for them. So like I said, man, as long as they can continue to do good in school and just wake up every day with that passion and that purpose, I'm sure a lot of these kids can grow up and be anything they really want.
It's an opportunity that maybe a lot of these kids wouldn't have access to if they were just trying to go to a school program or something like that. I mean, how important is it to have this access?
5 minutes remaining.
Yeah, I mean, it's important to me, especially, like I said, we didn't have too many of these opportunities, so I think trying to create a safe environment, right, where they can go have fun, they can listen to music, and then they can be around adults too that's kind of, we're all kind of gearing them and pushing them, in the same direction. And so for me, that's been the most fulfilling thing.
And athletes start as student athletes most of the time, and so you're getting them ready for school later with the backpacks too. I mean, maybe we can talk about the full package. You got to have everything to get ready for school.
Absolutely. Like I said, man, far beyond the field, obviously, like I said, we want these kids to have fun. We want them to enjoy. I want them to know that I play football, but I also want them to know I'm a dad, I'm a brother, I'm human, just like you. I make mistakes. Everything isn't always what you may see. So just take it for what it is, man. Like I said, just continue to grow and continue to surround yourself around people that's pushing you, in that direction.
With camp a couple days away, what's maybe the biggest focus for you entering this season?
Man, year 12. I mean, for me, man, it's always been about team, and how can we get everybody to play to the level that we're all capable of playing at. So I think that's what camp's for. That's what practice for. Pushing each other to that limit. Obviously it's kind of been shaky the last few years, but I think we have a good football team, and I think when we're healthy, we can show that. So, but obviously you got to take care of your health first, and just put the work in, man. Let's just have fun playing football, and let's have fun coming to work.
Through OTAs and minicamp, was there something maybe practice, from meetings, that you could tell, like, all right, we're going into this year with a different attitude, a different mindset?
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably go back a little further. Obviously with the way we kind of ended the season, it's kind of like on a high note, even though we didn't make the playoffs. But from Dennis to Mickey, I think their job is to hold us accountable. You know what I mean? And you can see that, and that's what we've been seeing. Especially it's been a difference. So and everybody's into it, man. Everybody's coming to work. Everybody's motivated. But I think from top down, man, accountability is a big thing. I think we'll be all right.
Do you feel like that momentum, which y'all won, like, I believe, 4 of the last 5 games, if I'm not mistaken? Do you feel like that momentum has carried on?
I believe so, because we had a good offseason. I think sometimes you can have a good season, and then it could kind of, fade away. Guys start doing their own thing. But I think a lot of guys came back, man, with that mindset that, man, we got to be better than we were last year.
Opposite of you is obviously there's going to be a competition. Howden and Abram are both going to play, but there's going to be a competition for that starting spot. As a vet, like, what's maybe your advice to those guys in the room as far as how they approach that battle?
I mean, it's a job, man. It's a business, and you want to do everything well. You want to be a great teammate. You want to be a good leader. You want to communicate well. And I share that with both of them. Obviously, Abram, he has a little bit more time in this league and he has a little bit more experience, but I think both of those guys are more than capable. And then with our system too, we playing 3 or 4 safeties. I know a lot of people talk about our corners, but we got some pretty decent safeties too. So those guys are going to play, and we're going to be expecting on those guys to play big.
Recently, I was interviewing Ed Reed, and I asked him about you, and he was like, man, I really need to talk to Tyrann because my dream was to play at home. Like, when he talks about the Saints, he still says we. And I'm like, man, you a Raven. He's like, no, that's still at home, right?
Yeah,
so, like, for one, what's your reaction to that? But 2, do you get other guys from here that have kind of asked you, like, man, like, to come home, to do it where you grew up, like, what's it like?
I mean, this is one of those communities, man, like, can never really let it go, man. Like, you can never really leave home. And I think it's all about dreams and aspirations to, come back home and, represent our family, put the fleur-de-lis on. And but obviously Ed was somebody that I've always looked up to. I've always watched him. But yeah, man, I feel special sometimes. Obviously we feel like we got a pretty good population of NFL players that's kind of like in the league. So, but I think I kind of got the bragging rights because, I went to LSU, I played for the Saints. So, I tend to get treated a little special, a little different than them sometimes. So, which I tend to rub it in their face here and there,
What about LSU's defense this year? What do you think?
Well, I'm excited. It's a new staff. I think Blake has really done a great job, his entire career. I'm really excited about him just kind of letting guys loose. That's kind of like been his staple, where he's been in the past. Like, he just puts his best players in position to, like, hunt. And, I just think about, like, Harold Perkins and different guys like that. And so, obviously, I think the offense is going to do well. I think they'll score maybe 28, 30 points a game. But I think defensively, I think this will be the year that, we can really compete with, like, the Bamas and the Georgias and teams like that.
Is LSU still DBU?
Absolutely. Obviously, Corey Raymond is back. So I'm expecting maybe like 6 first-round picks in like the next 5 years, maybe. So I know that's a lot of pressure, Corey, but we're all pulling for you. Yeah.
You mentioned Harold. He's another one of those guys that's from here. Like, that's part of the reason why he came back to LSU. What maybe has impressed you the most about he came into college hot, but like his growth?
Man, I think really his level-headedness, man. Obviously, he had a pretty, similar freshman season that I had. He could kind of spring onto the scene, and a lot of distractions come with that. And last year we kind of saw a dip in that production, right? But we didn't see a dip in his leadership, in his effort. And so, I think him this year, man, like we were just talking about, Blake just kind of cutting him loose, letting him just do what he do best. But he'll be one of those guys that'll play at the next level, for as long as he wants, as long as he can stay healthy. But he's just different, man. Not too many guys can play that position and run the way he runs and hit the way he hits. So he's special, man. And I think we're all looking for, him to bring home the Bednarik, and a bunch of other awards this year.
I know what the goal always is for every team going into the NFL season, what do you feel like to be a contender this team has to do? Like, what's the steps, especially you being a champion, what's the steps that you have to see to know, okay, we're on the right path to that potential?
Yeah, I mean, I think every season you'll have, ups and downs. But I think if you could start fast and finish strong, and then just kind of handle all the ups and downs, in between, you'll be all right. I think for us, man, we got to do better just playing complementary ball. I think when the offense is doing well, we're not doing too well on defense, right? And it's kind of like vice versa. So, man, if we could just complement each other and steal a possession here or two, put points on the board when we have to, when we need to. Like I said, man, we got more than enough skill. We got more than enough coaches on the staff that could kind of help us, get there and take advantage of that. But man, it's just about capitalizing on opportunities. Not dropping intercepts, not missing tackles. Catching the ball, right? Just blocking the guy in front of you. So, that's been a point of emphasis. We talked about accountability earlier, and so a lot of that has been points of emphasis. For us really the whole spring. And so hoping we can go to camp, kind of get away and just to see where we are, man.
Each year comes with a new mindset. What do you think is going to be your why this season? When you look around here, could this be it?
Yeah. I mean, my why has, really always been, family, community. Man, my kids, they love to see me play football. My family loves to see me play football, and really all these people out here. And so, I mean, that's a responsibility, I wear, proudly. But I'm still having fun doing this. I know I'm getting a little older, but man, it's still fun. I still enjoy it. I still feel like a kid. I don't think I've worked like a day in my life. Maybe 1 or 2 days, but yeah, man.
Have you thought about how many you have left?
I mean, obviously I'm at that age now where, wisdom tells you to, get things in order, down the road. But I mean, you never want to put that cart, before the horse. You know what I mean? So like I said, I've been fairly healthy the last couple of years. I still think I'm, pretty productive. And so, man, as long as I go out there and, help my team win, get 90 tackles and, 4 picks, man, I'll play till the hair fall out or turn gray. I don't know, So, but I do think about my kids, man. Obviously I missed a lot of time with them, and so, just trying to make up on that time, catch up on that time. But like I said, they seem to be enjoying their life and what we're doing, so it's all right.